Men are no longer providing for women who don't want to take care of them. The whole purpose of a man protecting a woman is so that she can take care of him. Why would he pay for some use that's not going to help him, not going to heal him, not going to listen, not going to be accountable, just in the way?
You know, what exactly are women sacrificing in the relationship? And I don't want us to think too hard about it, but what exactly are women sacrificing? Because we are the ones that want the relationship. We are the ones that want the marriage. So we come in ready. Men are the ones making all the sacrifice. They want to be outside with all the... And they want to keep their money because some of them for free. I'm tripping on.
Men don't initiate for sexy time. Women do. Men initiate to feel powerful. So if your man has stopped initiating, it's not because he's not attracted to you anymore. It's because he doesn't feel powerful. Maybe he's in over his head with his work or money. Or maybe he senses that you're not feeling happy with him or your intimacy. Stop trying to fix it or make it better. Stop thinking anything's wrong with him and simply remind him how powerful he is. I'm Courtney, intimacy expert. If this is you, we should chat. Send me a DM.
Hey, how's it going? I like those curls. Your security for the plant right there. You got to make sure nobody touches it. And if they do, you drag them out by their ear. We should go for a coffee sometime soon.
It's okay, thank you.
I was walking by with this handsome gentleman, and you kind of caught my eye. Yeah.
No, thank you. I have a boyfriend.
Hey, excuse me. Excuse me. That's a good man. How's it going, you two? Hi. You caught my eye as you were gliding across there.
No, I'm sorry.
And really, with modern women, when they talk crazy, when they sound crazy, when they don't take accountability, the only thing that you can really do is step back and move out of the way.
Most women think that they are supposed to be married, but they don't actually want to be a wife. They want to be able to say, I have a husband. They want to be able to wear the ring and show that in public. They want to say, look how valuable I am because someone chose me. Okay, great, but you're miserable. That's why 2 out of 3 marriages fail, because it's more based on the label of what it is, aka marriage, instead of the contents of what it is, aka husband or wife, aka staying power, respect, appreciation, right or wrong, yin and yang, equally yoked, alignment, core values, and ultimately God.
What's going on, fellas? Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment down below. Let's get back to the video.
So I just watched a video of a young woman from Africa. I don't know which country she's from, but she was saying that the thought of being a wife makes her feel miserable every time she thinks about it. And the men today, they say they don't know what's wrong with women. Feminism ruined this and that. Feminism. No, that is what you've been sold. I always feel like men need things explained to them. The reason why women don't want to get married today is because they found out how wives get treated by you guys. So you know how y'all hated us sharing stories about what's going on in our relationships and marriages, and, you know, it would go viral and people would be getting exposed? Well, we've done that enough times and we continue to do that now we're starting to collectively see that y'all all treat wives the same. And that's why no one wants to marry you anymore.
A lot of these men are tired of being treated like creeps. Tired of y'all treating them like a bum. Straight up. Y'all be treating these men like bums, man. And then y'all get mad and y'all get upset when a man start ignoring you behind. You did that. Stop treating them like that.
I don't date broke women. Not because I need their money, but because being broke usually means poor choices, weak discipline, and no understanding of how the real world works. If you can't manage your own life, you have no business helping me manage an empire. Money issues destroys more marriages than anything else after sex. So I'm not looking to raise a woman. I'm looking to build with one. And yes, I'll be a provider, but for only a woman who knows how to handle resources and was already resourceful long before I showed up.
You'll stop avoiding the women you want once you start doing this one specific thing. What most men do before they approach a woman is they focus on the worst case scenario. So all you have to do is make that a lot less scarier. Let me explain. Women already let men off easy because they don't want you to be emotionally reactive to rejection. So 90% of the time, if a woman's not interested in you, she'll just tell you she has a boyfriend, to which you assure her it's not a big deal and you tell her to have a good day. So take a second and realize that that's what you're scared of occurring. But you already know how to handle it, and you took action on something that you told yourself you wanted to do. And then moving forward, working on your game and putting in more action, therefore allowing you to grow in a new comfort zone. Follow for more value.
Women want their own man. They don't want to share the men, even though that is the more logical way that things would actually work out. Women don't want to do that. That's not the nature of a man, to be stuck with one person. But the woman wants to stick that man to one person, which is her, which is to take men away from their own reality, make men go against their own nature and trap him with her. And she don't care about what you going through, what you thinking, how you feel, as long as you serving her. That's where this thing, happy wife, happy life come
right
from.
Once again, I think modern women, they want you to just lose all your stuff. Oh man, we're in love. You only live once, live in the moment. I'm going to protect my stuff, because if it were me in your situation, I would get a prenup. But for you, don't you do it.
If a guy asks me my body count, I never speak to him again.
Oh, but it's okay to ask him how much he makes, his job title, or whether or not he'll pay all your bills? And if the question bothers you so bad, why don't you just tell him you don't feel comfortable answering it at the moment until you get to know him better, or whatever the stipulation is? I mean, you can ask him the question right back. It's so funny how women can vet men based on anything that they want. It's okay. But as soon as men want to ask you a specific question, then there's a problem. Men are allowed to have requirements and standards, and that's a valid one. How you answer that question may determine whether or not you're a good fit for him, and that's valid.
If you like a guy, but you do not like the fact that he has not planned a date yet, try this. Set a boundary, or what I call a lover girl limit. Your lover girl limit is a straight line that shows what you're okay with while dating and what you're not okay with. So as soon as you realize that you are not okay with the date not being planned, immediately contact this man and let him know that you're really enjoying getting to know him. But unless there is a date scheduled soon, you will be unavailable to stay connected. At this point, he will either plan a date ASAP or he won't. And then you can finally stop waiting around. And when you do this, when you set your boundary, your lover girl limit, you'll stop being annoyed. You'll stop wasting your time. And best of all, you'll actually start going out on dates.
You know, a lot of these modern women want princess treatment. They want a man to give them a good life, but they not really giving a man anything to look forward to. And so at some point in time, you're going to have a breaking point where a man is like, man, I'm not being appreciated for anything. And he's just going to move on.
I just gave birth and they brought me 2 chocolate chip cookies. Would you eat them?
Talking to me?
Okay.
Oh, I think this says a whole lot more about you than it does him. It is very apparent that you talk to your phone a lot, and that is why this man did not even register that you could have been talking to him. That man's probably too busy checking his 401k or your children's 529 accounts. To me, this is fairly harmless. It doesn't mean that anything bad is going on in your relationship between each other. But it would be great if this could be somewhat of a reality check. I mean, come on, you're spending the night out in some water at what looks like a very nice home. Put the phones down. Talk to each other. Spend some time together. I would say, honestly, that the woman should take the lead on this. And the bottom line is that men do want connection. They do seek that quality time, but they do not want to force you into it. They want you to naturally want to spend time with him, which is why you gotta do it first. Trust me.
The more macho I find a man to be, the more obedient and submissive he's likely to be, the more he's likely to go and do an obedient, submissive job like be in the army or do whatever, follow orders from another man. The men who are the most in touch with their feminine side are the most rebellious, strong men I've ever met. The more in touch with the man's feminine side he is, the more power he seems to be able to acquire. There is such a disobedience to going, F off, I will embrace my feminine side and I won't fear it. My boyfriend is a man who has got femininity within him. And when I say that, I mean sensitivity. Yeah. He's a sensitive man. He's the manliest man I've ever met. And people presume because I'm so strong and I'm so outspoken, I must be with some like weak, like cuck, simp type, where it's like, no, a weak man couldn't handle me. His masculinity is so firm, nothing threatens it. Not his femininity and not mine. That's a real man.
You know, modern women go through these phases, these attitudes. And when you continue to be so inconsistent about it, men stop taking you seriously. There's not really a whole bunch that they can do with you because they don't know how you're going to feel from time to time.
I mean, if a woman wants to know the men in her life better, whether it's her husband or her sons or men she works with, her brothers, her father, what if they mean what they say? Because we tend to listen that when they say, I do that because, or this is, or I'm this way, or it is this way, we tend to listen to it as a poor excuse for bad behavior. And we don't treat it like it's real. We don't treat it like they're telling me the truth. Okay, how can I hear it? And really what happens to people through the Queen's Code, for example, or live workshops that were all the research to be able to write it, if we just consider they're men and women, just starting with gender hormones, men and women, our brains don't even configure themselves in the same way. We think differently. Our vision is different. We don't see the same things with our eyes, right? And we expect that the other person's supposed to be coming from our point of view, from our values, from our preferences and attachments, and from our wounds. And we expect so much of the other person to be like us. And we can't hear them when they're speaking about the world for them.
If a man watches all of his stuff go out the door, I lose friends, lose my house, I lose a whole bunch of stuff. Why would I continue to risk that? You know, that's the type of stuff that you have to look at and be like, oh, well, maybe it isn't worth it for a man after all.
This is the currency for me. Like, I'm giving you this with the expectation to be your woman. And I say that in the beginning.
Is it secured before sex or after sex?
No, because I be trying to not be one of them women that's like, I will not have sex with you until you give me a title. I try not to be that because, one, I'm an adult, things happen. So I try to be reasonable.
From a man's perspective, that's great. You know, we're like, yes, have sex with us before you secure a commitment. But from your position, I would advise against that. Because when you do that, you just basically gave up your power. At the very least, secure a commitment first that will weed out certain types of guys, hopefully. And nothing's a guarantee. We understand that. So this goes against me saying, hey, tell women to have sex, you know, with men right off the bat. No, for women who are marriage minded, try and secure at least commitment first.
It took like 30 years, like legit. I think I got a sign. I think I'm getting tricked.
Wives, if you haven't done, you know what, with your husband in a long time, I'm gonna need you to pause and listen for a second. Okay, stay with me. I'm starting at 1 Corinthians chapter 7, verse 3. The husband should fulfill his wife's physical needs, and the wife should fulfill her husband's needs. The wife gives authority over her body to her husband, and the husband gives authority over his body to his wife. Do not deprive each other of physical relations unless you both agree to refrain from physical intimacy for a limited time, so you can give yourselves more completely to prayer. Afterward, you should come together again so that Satan won't be able to tempt you because of your lack of self-control. Here's the thing that nobody wants to say about this. When you get into a pattern of not being intimate with your spouse, you are not just suddenly going to want it again. And it's not always a lack of desire. Sometimes it is a lack of selflessness. Sometimes you choose to love your spouse in a physical way, even if you are not super excited beforehand. And I can tell you, I have never once regretted loving my husband in that way. In fact, it usually makes me want to more because it brings that connection back. You've got to be willing to break the dry cycle, because once you break it, the desire and the excitement starts to come back too.
A lot of modern women still don't respect men. They think it's enough just to every so often throw them a bone. And, you know, in the figurative sense, that's, oh, you know, I'll give you something just so I don't feel terrible as a human being. But men are aware that you really actually, honestly, and truly despise them.
If someone asks me what kind of man I want, I won't say tall. I won't say rich. I won't say perfect. I'll say, I want a man who protects my feelings, not just my body. A man who never makes me question my worth. Who doesn't disappear when things get hard, who doesn't use silence as a weapon. I want someone who communicates, even when it's uncomfortable, even when his voice shakes. Someone who chooses me, not just when it's easy, not just when I'm convenient, but every single day. I want a man who stays gentle, even when life isn't. Who doesn't turn cold just because the world did. Someone who sees my tears and doesn't shame them, but holds me like I'm something precious. I don't need expensive dates. I don't need grand gestures. I don't need perfect. I want kind. I want safe. I want someone who feels like home.
A lot of men just decide that, you know, once again, the truth isn't really worth the squeeze. Modern women continue to put themselves in a plethora of situations and expect a man to get them out of it. And when you have to show up being Superman or Spider-Man or some sort of hero in the chaos that everybody made, how do you think a man is going to respond over time?
Why do intelligent men stay single?
Because they're very logical in their communication and they don't know how to create emotions within a woman on a first date. Now, as a man, if you're very logical, you have a good job, you run your business, you are very concise in your speech. And you've learned that what you say is evaluated based on its merits. How valid is it and how much value does it add to the conversation? So you think long and hard about it. You overthink, which is an asset in this one context. But the problem is, on a date, it's not about the factual accuracy of the information that you supply her with. It's about how humorous you can be, how fun, how playful, how certain you can be when you communicate. It's much better on a date to say something that's absolute nonsense with total certainty and something that's factually correct, but in an uncertain way. Now, obviously, that only applies on a first date in a playful way. You're not supposed to lie. But certainty is the currency on a first date.
What is the smartest decision you've ever made, Clark?
Ooh, I think the smartest decision I've ever made was probably coming to New York for school. Honestly, I think I learned so much. I met so many amazing people, my best friends I met living here. I've been able to date so many different types of people, learn more about other cultures and learn more about myself. And yeah, I think a lot of the opportunities I have now are a result of coming here. And so, yeah, that was probably my best decision, was moving.
And I want to be treated like an equal in the house too. Like if you're, I don't want you to pay the rent and then I feel like I have to do all the chores or whatever that trade-off is.
Because people even are like, I would never do 50-50 with someone. And I'm like, that conversation is a whole other thing. But I'm like, I don't think there's anything wrong with building a life with like your partner. And if that means you're going 50-50 on this or 50-50 on the chores, whatever it is. I mean, the percentage thing is so ridiculous because it always ends up being, you know, just variable. But yeah, so no, I agree. I think if you marry solely for money, you don't marry for the person seeing you as an equal and like really respecting you and your wishes, you will pay for it forever.
I agree. Okay, hookup culture. You have a take.
I do.
So as a millennial, everyone in this room is probably millennial. I'm laughing because we all grew up with hookup culture. Like, it was actually kind of, it was weird to have a boyfriend or girlfriend.
Modern women, if you really get your head right, you'll understand that you can be a man's greatest weakness or a man's greatest strength. A lot of y'all right now are the reason, a major reason that a man is unmotivated. And obviously he's got to, motivate himself and, at the end of the day, do his own thing. But he don't need people fighting against him that say they're supposed to be on his team.
I had run for 3 years, 2 months, 14 days, and 16 hours.
So I told a man today that I was looking for a relationship and really serious about it, really wanted a family, all the things. And then he said I come off desperate. So I'll be overthinking that for the next 3 to 5 business days.
Be trying to call me a cougar? A cougar. See, from what I understand, a cougar is an old that like young guys. I'm an old that young guys like. It's a difference.
At the end of the day, I am a woman. Yes, girls like girls, but there's no gender roles. There's no dominant sub roles. I am a woman. So therefore, I have needs. Sometimes I need to be dominant. Sometimes I need to be submissive. I'm not talking about the bedroom. I'm talking about reality. Sure, I'm good with money. Sure, I'm good with finances. Sure, I'm good with life planning and stuff. But sometimes you don't want to take the lead for certain things. And it's freaking exhausting having to do every freaking thing, make every decision, even in the bedroom.
Excuse me. Excuse me. Hey, this is super random, but honestly, you look like someone that I would regret not talking to. So I wanted to come up and say hi to you.
Hi.
You're very cute.
Thank you. I have a boyfriend.
I'm myself.
Don't. I love the boldness and the confidence.
All right. Yeah, thank you.
I'm keep doing it.
Yeah. I'm glad you like it.
I know.
Yeah. Flattered?
I am. I don't have a boyfriend. I'll give you my number.
Sure. Okay. Have a great day. I'm glad I could bring some positivity to it.
2015, a woman named Lucy Hill, she does a study. They basically look at the time when a couple met to when they started dating. And they started correlating that with the physical attractiveness of the two members of the couple. So they had a bunch of researchers that would rate the physical attractiveness, and then they would correlate that to how attractive their partner was. And then they would look at how long they'd known each other before. Basically, the results of the study were, if you are an attractive man, that's your best chance of dating an attractive woman when you first meet her. At 4.5 months, that correlation got cut in half. At 9 months, the correlation was 0, meaning the guy who was a 5 was dating a girl who was a 10 because he put her in the friend zone for 9 months.
Young men, you need to have a destination in your life. If you are on a date and a young lady says, well, what do you do? And you're like, it's kind of meander. And I go on DraftKings and I own crypto and I don't know. And loser, instead it should be, I'm studying this because of this. I'm going to start a business. I'm going to work for this person. I want to be able to make this much money by this period of time to provide for a family. And I don't care how hard it gets, but I'll provide for you and provide for the kids. And I'll be the protector and the covering over the family. Follow me because I'm going to lead us. That's what they want to hear.
Tell women all day long, if you bring me peace, that's just as good as this money.
Yeah, man.
Because I can't find that.
No.
I can't find peace.
No.
Peace? You give me that, man, we good. Just be cool.
The sad reality is in today's modern world, all guys are really asking for is peace. And I hear this over and over. Most men are just in these toxic relationships and in these toxic problems and toxic marriages. And all they really want is a woman that they come home to and she doesn't yap and brings in peace. That's all what they're asking for. And for some reason, they have to negotiate that too. Sad world we're living in today.
How long would you go without showering if you got paid $100,000 for each day?
Now, you're probably expecting me to say something crazy like I would never wash again, and that's probably not true, but I am a businessman of sorts, so 1 year of not bathing would equal $36.5 million at $100,000 per day. So I would do it for at least a year or sooner if someone was to make me a better offer on the daily basis, because to be honest with you, at my age, $36.5 million is enough for me to just basically, how did John Goodman put it in that movie, have you money.
On Threads, someone made a post and said, "Men, how do you tell if a woman is wifey material?" And this guy responded back and said that, of course, you have to be attractive physically, emotionally, and mentally. However, unless that man is looking for a wife, he's never going to see you as wifey material. And I sit here and think about how many men I've been a good woman to, but I'm still unmarried. And it's like, that's what the issue is. Like, in order for a man to find you as a wife, he has to be looking for one. The Bible even says, "He who finds a wife findeth a good thing and obtain favor from the Lord." So if he's not looking for a wife, it doesn't matter who you are, how you look, nothing. Doesn't matter how you pour into him. You're not going to be his wife because he isn't looking for one.
What's the biggest thing you hate about women?
The biggest thing I hate about women is that, that one Billie Eilish quote, she said,
"You give an ugly guy a chance, he thinks he rules the world."
That's it right there. Okay. You look at that statement, you see how invalid that is. As a young man coming up, you see how they're just trying to put you down, okay? Now, if the roles were reversed, this would be a cancelable offense for us. Okay. You understand that? Okay. So I think that, there's double standards, okay? And we have to look at these. We don't let this slide. Okay. Pause. Okay? We just have to realize that, if you're going to say that about us, and you expect us to not say that about you, let's take a step back. Let's look at the situation, all right? Next question.
Right.
The worst thing a woman can do, statistically speaking, is to get married to a man. Married women do not live as long as single women. They do not earn as much money as single women. They are not as happy as single women. They report themselves in every single way that you can measure sociological data for wellness as being less contented than single women. Married men, on the other hand, married to women, outperform single men by such a measure that it is perhaps the healthiest thing that a man can do is to get a woman to marry him. Married men live longer, they're healthier, they make more money, they advance more in their careers, they're more creative, they're less likely to commit suicide, they're less likely to have homicide, they're less likely to in car accidents, in every single possible way. The best thing a man can do is to get married to a woman. Those imbalances are exactly equal, meaning the percentage of herself that a woman gives to a man, she loses and he gains. So she's literally giving her life to him.
I used to say there are no good men until I realized what that belief was actually revealing about me. And that's why I don't judge women when they say it, but I do get curious because sometimes that phase comes after you've been hurt, after you've tolerated less than you deserve, or after you keep attracting the same emotionally available men. Here's what I had to realize. There are actually amazing men out there, men who want partnership, loyalty, who want to treat love like something super sacred, who see women as equals and powerful. I just wasn't attracting one of those men. So at some point, I had to stop saying there are no good men and start asking myself better questions. Who am I attracted to? What am I tolerating? What do I believe I deserve? Why does chaos feel familiar? Because if every single man feels low quality, we gotta be brave enough to look inward. Good men exist. I know because I'm with one right now. So the question, it isn't where are all the good men? It is, are you ready to receive one?
I mean, I'm a little bit like of a dog. Like I like to have on the first date because I feel like that's my intention. I'm like, yeah, I want you to f the shit out of me. But that's just me.
And she knows it.
I mean, because we've done so many things in high school. I've had in a car in high school. Okay. So once I've already passed that threshold, I'm like, okay, I'm going to give it up for my husband too, I don't know. I feel like if I'm even on a date with you, it means something. We talked already. We have enough substance. We can.
Is that why you have such high date standards?
I don't know, actually. Well, I guess so, because I feel like I haven't been in a long time. So it's if I get on this off occasion where I am getting I want to get by a guy I like,
That's valid.
Yeah, and I like you, we're talking, we're dating, okay, me.
You know you found a wife when you want to change for her. When you're willing to wake up every day and be like, whatever I do today, I want to make sure I'm a better man for my wife. A wife does not look at any type of gender roles. A wife is there to protect her man the way she can, to provide for her man the way she can. And I mean emotionally, spiritually. A wife is a person who can sit down and pray for you when you're not doing what you're supposed to do. Maybe you may fall off. A woman may pray for you, but a wife is going to sit down and hold your hand and say, let's pray together. Men, this is where y'all take accountability. You have to look in the mirror as well, because you may have a wife sitting right in front of you, but you're not willing to change for that woman. You may be a little boy. Sorry. Everything about that woman is going to make you be a better man. I'm just telling you, it's just real. He who finds a wife finds a good thing. Not he who finds a girl, he who finds a woman, he who finds somebody who outside, he who finds a wife.
Man, at the end of the day, bro, if she not gonna fuck with you, bro, you gotta fuck with a that's gonna fuck with you at the end of the day. You forcing conversation, trying to force link-ups, trying to force dating her and all that. All that's doing is making her not like you, bro. Okay? The quicker you move on to the next woman and that woman appreciates you and loves you and wants to fuck with you, then the other woman that's on the is going to see that and she's going to try to come back and appreciate you and try to fuck with you and love you. But then it's too late for the now. You know what I'm saying? You have to continue working on yourself, continue bettering yourself, and continue not giving a fuck about what thinks about you. Trust me, you'll never succeed in your life, in your dating life, in your career, if you care about what the others' opinions of you matter. I'm telling you, bro, it don't matter. Okay? The more you don't give a fuck, the more you're going to win in this thing called life, bro. Trust me. If you want to become code and work with me one-on-one, man, comment the word below code, and I'll send you the link to the DM. Let's get it.
I'm going out this weekend. Probably won't be back until late.
Okay, where to?
A short trip with Alex.
Your male best friend.
He's like a brother, Ethan. Don't start.
I'm not starting anything. I'm just clarifying what you're asking me to be comfortable with.
This is exactly what I mean. You're being insecure.
I'm not being insecure. I just want to understand. Insecure men compete. Secure men don't argue for their place. They decide whether the environment respects it.
So you don't trust me now?
Trust isn't blind tolerance. Trust works inside boundaries, not outside of them.
Nothing is happening. You're reading into it.
I don't read intentions. I read patterns, optics, and consequence.
He's always been there for me.
Orbiters usually are. That's what makes them orbiters. Availability without accountability.
That's insulting.
It's descriptive. Keeping men close just in case doesn't make me special. It makes me provisional.
So I'm not allowed to have male friends now?
You can have any friends you want. I'm just not staying where I'm an option.
What are you saying? Wow, you're really controlling.
Control is telling you what to do. Boundaries are telling you what I accept.
So what, this is an ultimatum?
No, it's alignment. I don't negotiate self-respect.
You'd really walk away over this?
I value myself too much to compete for a role I already earned.
Ethan.
When I commit, I'm the only plan. And I don't stay where I'm optional.
How the heck am I single? Dating in 2026 is pretty much impossible. It's not that I can't get anyone, it's the fact that guys do not want to make an effort anymore. Like, I just go through all these talking stages, which last about a day, and then it just fizzles out. They'll add me on Instagram, they'll react to my stories, they'll send me fire emojis, try to get my attention, get their little ego boost, but they will never plan a date. Everyone's talking to everyone, they have a million other options, and it's just overwhelming. I can't be bothered. It's too hard. And I just don't even want to waste my energy on this anymore. Like, I have 0 talking stage left of me. I've had enough. It's like no one really wants to settle for anyone these days because I always think there's someone better because we have so many options. But at the same time, I think most of us are actually going to end up being alone because of that. So it's sad what the world is coming to. So I'm just going to focus on me and protect my peace. Very cliche. But what else can I do? I mean, I'm not going to waste any more time looking for someone because I just end up getting frustrated and upset.
So where are the men? Where do y'all hang out? Let me rephrase that question and be a little bit more specific. Where are all the good men? I'm talking about men who aren't intimidated by independent women, men who respect women with high standards instead of calling them too picky. Men who are emotionally mature, that they know how to communicate and not play any games. And also men who are actually looking for a real connection instead of a situationship or just attention. I'm a pretty normal person. I'm kind. I do fun activities. I'm pretty social. I recently just joined a pickleball club. I actually met someone who's totally my type, but he is taken. He's not available in the market. So I'm kind of convinced that all the good men are taken in long-term relationships or married. I'm also convinced all the good men are not on dating apps because they could just get into a relationship super easily in real life. Why would they be on the apps? So if you're one of the men with the qualities that I'm looking for, please let me know where I can meet y'all in the comments. Thank you.
That these women were not real. And my first experience actually was a clip that went viral when I was interviewing a woman that I had met briefly in LA, and she was talking about her standards in a man, and she told me she required a pretty expensive engagement ring. I think it was around $250,000. So again, I did not think these women existed. I didn't think they were real until I started interviewing women and asking them what their standards were. Today, I'm going to talk about a tweet that I saw from a girl named Michaela. Tweeted her ideal man, and she said he has to be 6 foot plus, good facial bone structure, 120 IQ, deep voice, funny, assertive, a cowboy personality, and income over 130,000. Optional, Ivy League educated and old money. I have talked to a 27-year-old Los Angeles surgeon, a 28-year-old 2 Ivy League degrees son of a diplomat, rich, flies to a different state for haircuts and tennis with friends, a 23-year-old 6'4" UC Berkeley grad making $350,000 per year, and a 25-year-old MIT athlete frat boy who's now working as an engineer. One of them proposed. So I have a couple questions for Michaela. I have a lot of questions about just how realistic this is. Maybe it's more realistic than I think. I don't know. I'm welcome to being proven.
So here's what I've decided. And here's what I think all women should do who are single and like this age. When going out on a first date with a man, coffee, forget the drinks. Here's what we do, ladies. Trader Joe's. Tell our men, you want to meet? You're going to meet at Trader Joe's. We're going to do a couple of things. We're going to meet there because number one, fully populated, safe. Okay? Number two, I want to see how you shop. I want to know what you're eating. I want to know how you snack. I want to know if your snacks are cauliflower or if it's chips and cookies and cake. I want to know if we vibe with our food choices. I want to know how you shop. I want to know how nice you are to the cashier. I want to see it in real time. This is what we're doing, ladies. This. Forget the dinners and the coffees and those meetups where it's kind of like a job interview and we're all on our best behavior. I want to see how you are in a crowded grocery store when the little old lady is, taking up the whole aisle and you have to wait your turn or say, excuse me, I want to see what you do, sir. I want to see what you do. That's my flex. I'm going with it.
And I'm going to silently observe what this trip looks like on her social media.
You know what? Exactly.
How she's carrying herself. And then men do that. We take mental notes. People are like, oh, she's out there on a boat, half naked, twerking in front of guys. Not wifey when she comes back. Now I know where to place her.
Wait, on a boat, half naked? What do you want her to wear on a boat?
Twerking also was added in there on a guy.
So there was guys
twerking on a guy is crazy though. On a guy is
like if
it was a girl's trip.
If you're getting to know me, I'm sorry, what'd you say?
I said I thought it was a girl's trip.
But guys can be there.
They do be having
like
excursions.
If you go on a girl's trip to Jamaica, you're with your girls, but men live in Jamaica.
Men do live in Jamaica.
So that's what I'm saying. Like,
I get
doing something like that.
You could judge her if she did that raft thing and she had the Jamaican man doing the exfoliating
and rubbing
I'm judging it all.
But
I ain't never get that up on.
Usually, if men were not invited on the trip, that boat day is just girls. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. And if she's half naked, so what? Who the goes to Jamaica to put on clothes?
But it's not just doing it. It's also
and we twerking for the videos. It's a girl's trip. You also look
at what you post. Men look at what you post. We don't want our wifey having certain things posted on her social media. Remember the saying that's going viral, a wife is a wife before she's a wife? That's what that means.
So your narcissist ex already has a new partner. Let's break down why. And no, it's not because they've changed or the new person is better than you. When a narcissist moves on within days, weeks of your breakup, it can feel so personal, but the truth is that it's not about you. It's not about the new partner. It's about the narcissist's need for a constant supply. What's really happening is that they can't be alone. They are not interested in healing, self-reflection. They need somebody, anybody, to validate them and feed their ego. And the faster they move on, the faster they can distract themselves from their own emptiness. The new partner is just a fresh supply. They're not special, nothing against them. They're just new. And the narcissist is likely love bombing them the same way they did with you, creating the illusion of a perfect relationship. That feeling that you had in the beginning that didn't last very long, they're probably feeling the same thing. What you're seeing isn't love, it's a performance, and it's also a manipulation tactic. They know that seeing them with someone new will hurt you, and it's a very calculated move to keep you feeling small, to keep you doubting yourself. And if they're flaunting their new partner, it's not happiness. Again, it's about trying to maintain control over you. So remember that this new relationship isn't real. The same cycle of love bombing, devaluation, discarding is going to repeat, and it has nothing to do with your worth. Really, their inability to stay single or reflect is a reflection of them, not you.
I made a video listing all the things I want in my husband, or my future husband, and I'm getting a bunch of comments like this. The thing is, though, I made that list in 2020 and met someone a year later that checks it all off and adds to it, like makes me think, wow, you're better than what I even dreamed of. So not to brag, but I'm going to show you all the things he's done that has changed my brain chemistry, and I'm not asking for too much because he is more than what I even asked for. Okay, first up, for our first official date, he said he always wanted to get dressed up and take a girl to a really nice restaurant, and he had never done that before, and he wanted to do it for me. He even went and got a whole new outfit and tailored blazer to take me on a date. For our 1-year anniversary, he surprised me with a cabin in the Smoky Mountains because I always wanted to stay in a cabin in the Smoky Mountains. But it wasn't just any cabin. It was like a honeymoon cabin with a heart-shaped tub, and it made me cry. I hadn't had a birthday where I felt special in forever, and this man took me out. We went and did all kinds of fun stuff. He made that whole day about me and took me to a Dolly Parton-themed rooftop bar. We also did a photo shoot on my birthday at the Parthenon. And he bought me my first real thing from Gucci because I'm a dupe queen, and I'd been wearing a fake belt for years. And he's not even some rich boy. He just knew I really wanted one and saved up for it. He loves to travel and takes me on fun trips, which wasn't even on my list. They had to keep a mental health journal in the academy, and he wrote the whole journal to me and gave it to me on Valentine's Day. He plans date nights and takes me out all the time, and if we haven't gone out in a while, he's like, I feel like I need to do something for you, and he does something for me. I told him I was sad and really wanted to ride roller coasters and be in the sunshine, and he took me to Disney World. I'd never been to Disney before. He bought the photo pass too, so we have beautiful photos of our trip. He buys me bouquets every month, sometimes twice a month, so I can keep fresh flowers in our living room. He treats me like a queen. Yeah. So y'all can keep commenting, talking that I have too high of standards, but I don't think I do. The bar has been raised, actually.
A lot of these modern women like to holler how independent they are. But if that man makes $120K a year, you make $65K, all of a sudden I'm not independent no more. Oh, equality, it's not equal anymore. That's not fair. You got to pay all the bills because you make more than me. And I'll contribute, I'll put in here and there, but I'm not going to be paying the bills because it's just not fair to me.